I think I'm this is not easy. Okay, let me just check. Yep, it's going, I think. Right. I did this a while back and the sound quality was awful. I now have a lovely lapel microphone, so hopefully this will take. And we all know I'm shit at editing, so you'll probably get the burbling bit at the first. I'm redoing the thing about mops and cleaning your floors and stuff in gentle. Right, start with the beginning, mops. I don't have a steam mop because I don't think they're particularly brilliant at anything. I do have a caddy steamer and it's quite useful for getting into little bits of grot and jetting it out, but I don't like steamers for the floor. You shouldn't use them on wood because you're forcing hot steam into wood, and if it's open grain, it will cause it to swell up and it will make the floor deteriorate. It can also make hardwood floors go black. And because it's only got that pad on the bottom, it doesn't actually get rid of a lot of dirt. It gets rid of some of it, and then it doesn't get rid of some of it. So let's start with things I have got. What I don't have, oddly enough, is a standard mop and bucket. I've got them everywhere I work, but I don't have one for myself because they're cheap, they're accessible. You can wash the mop heads, although you might have to tie them in little pigtails to stop them getting tangled. But for what I'm doing, they don't do the best job. I have hardwood floors. I started off with one of these, and these are quite good. You just dunk it in a bucket, and then you do. This is where we discover it's gone hard. It's gone hard. See, I should have. There we go. It does that. Now, the problem with that, you can see, is it doesn't really squeeze it tightly enough to get all the water out. So you can end up with quite wet floors. And as you can see, I've only used this mop head a few times, and it's a bit grubby. They do come up a bit cleaner. It's a branded one. It's a Radiator one. They're kind of okay, but they're just not brilliant. But what they do is because of this edge, they do get into corners very nicely, but they don't go under anything. And I quite like the idea that when I'm mopping, it will just go under the front of the fridge, because quite a lot of stuff does. You get quite a lot of dirt that can be mopped up that just flicks under things like the front of your fridge or the front of your oven. And a mop that's got strings or something will just go under there and get it out without you having to haul out the fridge. So that's one. The other two. Now this is the one that I use most often. This is a thing called a spin mop. Now, you can buy spare heads. This is a generic one. Vileda do one, and obviously, I'm not knocking Vileda. It's excellent quality, but you do pay for the brand and the quality. They're just a generic circular one. You can buy spare heads for not a lot of money, and these do go in the washing machine. And how they work is they come with a bucket. You see, that bit spins. You fill the bucket with water, and then you. I can't do it with you. This bit spins. You pump it there. You see, I do it the other way around, and it spins the water out. You can get them really, really dry. So if you're mopping up a spill, you just soak, spin, spin. And likewise, you can slot water over, spin it out really tightly, and then mop it all up again, which is great, because whatever you're mopping a floor with needs to stay in contact with the floor for, a few seconds to a couple of minutes so that it can soak into the dirt, render the dirt soft, and lift it up and away. Those are great. I like them. I've got them. 4 or 5 of my clients have bought them because I've said that they're what I want to use, and I wouldn't have done that. This one, hiding in the corner, this is wet because it's been stood outside. Now, years ago, when I first started working, these things were called Dutch mops, and you could buy replacement heads, but I haven't been able to find the heads. This I bought from can you hear the ratchet? It rings out, and then you do that, and it does get them really quite dry, and then you undo that, and it's just like a proper mop. This one's filthy because it's been sat outside the back door. So you use it like a proper mop, but you can wring it. They are really, really good. The downside to this, and why it's not my recommendation, is when this head goes to bits, you've got to throw it away. And the other thing is I can't take this head off. to put it in the washing machine, which is something I would like to do. Problem with washing, if you do get them where the top comes off, if I did wash it, I would have to put an elastic around there to stop it tangling. Do be careful of things tangling. You want clean mop heads because the water dissolves the dirt and the fabric picks the dirt up into itself. And then you wring it out and most of the dirt comes out in the water. But after a while, the mop becomes clogged and dirty and it no longer picks up extra dirt. So that's when you need to put them in the washing machine, which does it best. You can do it in a bucket of water, but it's not as efficient. Get the fibres clean again, and your mop will start picking up again. So, your choice, what you want. And, as I've frequently said, there's nothing wrong with a bit of old T-shirt and a bucket with a couple of drops of washing up liquid in it. It works fine. And if you've only got a small bathroom and a tiny little kitchen, to be honest, you know, the storage space comes in. If you're in a small flat, storage matters a lot. Holly, stop being a knob, darling. I know the postman has been, but it, you know, so you go with what you want. Tiny space, don't bother about any of this. Just use a cloth. Floor cloths are quite thick. You know, you can have it done in under a couple of minutes. In less time it would take you to get the bucket out the cupboard. But for bigger spaces, that's really good. For wood and laminate, you don't want to allow loose water on them. You want to be able to keep them just damp so that there's no free water to soak in, just like I said with a steam mop, to soak into the wood fibres or to soak into the edges of laminate so that the underneath absorbs water and swells up, and then it blows and it dries, and over time that will lead the whole thing to deteriorate. Right, I'm just being attacked by my rose. Other things. This is a rubber brush. These are really good if you've got dog hair, especially the fine fluffy stuff. Number one, I don't know how well you can see it. They're great for things like glass because it's almost like a squeegee on the floor. I mean, this one does have a squeegee, but this down the stairs, if you've got pets, is just brilliant. It's much quicker than using a hoover. You just brush down to the bottom and pick it up with your vacuum cleaner. If you've got hair that won't budge out of your rug or your carpet, honestly, brilliant. You can get them wet. You rinse them out under the tap. They're made of rubber. They're not that expensive, and they are very, very useful. Don't know what that is. Dustpan and brush. Pick them up for very little. You will want a soft one for hard surfaces to sweep all the bits up. You know, go and get all the crumbs and just sweep it into there. A soft one won't work so well on carpet. You'll need a stiffer one because it's got to kind of, you know, brush. So if you've got rugs or carpets, you might want to get 2 brushes to the dustpan, but you don't need 2 dustpans. You only need the one. Somewhere I've got a really big hefty one with a bristle brush that I use in the garden as well. And another thing, this is a radiator brush. Do not pour things in your radiator. I mean, you can, but I really wouldn't. This will go down behind the radiator. This is a flat one, and obviously it's flexible here, but it's rigid on that surface. And somebody was saying she dropped her phone down behind. Slide that down, it will go underneath the phone. You can flip the phone out if you drop things behind your radiator. Gets cobwebs out. You can go in from under, go in from over. And that is narrow enough that those fins between the 2 big bits of the radiator that seem to eat cobwebs, it will slide down. And what I do is I hold the nozzle of the vacuum cleaner between my feet pointing up. And I solemnly stand there and do that. And I just keep my feet and this in line. So when this goes down, the vacuum cleaner sucks it up. And it's a very solemn procedure. I have to concentrate, but it saves me bending over. Brilliant thing, really useful. Now, the other thing that people have, I've got one, a Swiffer. This is, I can use this for just dusting the floor. Again, you can see lots of holly fur on it. Really good. Goes and leaf flat, will go onto the sofa. It's kind of better than a broom, I have to say. I can pop the thing off and wash it, if I can work out how to fold it. Yeah, this comes off and I can put it in the washing machine. So it's really good. Now, I like these for dusting. I do not like them for washing floors for the same reason that whatever the pad is, it has a limited absorbency, and you can't really, you can then fold them and take them off and rinse them and wring them out by hand and put them back on while you're mopping to rinse it. But as a ball ache, just get something that you can do with it. I just think they're not great for wet cleaning, but dry dusting, absolutely brilliant. Knock yourself out. And the last thing, a lot of you have heard me talking about, a deck scrub. If you've got hard floors and textured floors, stone floors, anything like that, it's a scrubbing brush onto the pole. And when this wears out, get another scrubbing brush and screw it back on. And it means that without going down on your hands and knees, you can scrub your floors. They're really useful. They're really cheap. I think this one was £3.50, including the handle. Maybe, I think it was £3.50 including the handle. But like I said, once you've got the handle, you can do that. Absolutely invaluable. You can use it outside to scrub your drive, in the garage. If you get oil on there, you can clean the oil up. Put some detergent down and hot water and scrub the oil up, and that'll do. Really, really useful bits of kit. I've got a little brick foyer in front of my washing machine, and I use this to scrub it. I don't use it on my oak floors because they're quite smooth, but I could. I just don't. Reiterate though, do not use alkaline cleaners or strong alkalis on hardwood, because you will find that there's an inky blackness that comes off. You can remove it with an acid, but it can be a bit difficult if you do it. So if you've got this beautiful teak flooring, hardwood flooring, and you put this down and you put quite a lot of alkali floor cleaner in it and you start scrubbing, before you get back, you can turn back and see there's black all over it. It looks horrific. Like I said, you can mop it up and you can immediately put acid down. Vinegar will sometimes do it, but it's often not strong enough. So you then have to go and buy something like oxalic acid. Or, to be honest, I've always got the lime, so I just squirt that down in a hurry and scrub if I do it. But just bear in mind, if you are washing hardwood floors, just a couple of drops of detergent, washing up liquid floor cleaner, anything like that, and put a mugful of vinegar in. And if it's wood floors, you can use brown vinegar because, they're wood floor, and brown vinegar will only put a minuscule bit of brown on them, just to make sure that you're not slowly turning them black. But that's everything vaguely covered. Hopefully you can hear me this time. And if you can hear me, hopefully the subtitles will work properly. And if it uploads properly, I'll take the other bugger. Anyway, at least you know what we're doing now.